Hi crafty friend, it's Justine Dvorak from Stationery by Justine, where when I craft, my world stands still. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different on my club videos. I'm going to keep this part of the showing a little bit quicker than normal because I have a lot planned for these clubs. Now if you are brand new to my channel, hi, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe if you'd like, and you can stick around for more videos. I put up videos quite often here on YouTube. I also have a pretty active Instagram and Facebook group, so check out all those good links down below, and I will link all the products I'm using here today, as well as other things that I'm using. So I'm using club items, but I also pull from my stash and add in all the glitz and glam that I love to do, and some of them are going to be quite sparkly this month. Heads up. All right, so if you want to just go ahead and skip to the making, go ahead and click to this timestamp in on the screen here, and you can skip all the chit chat about everything and just get to the cards. But typically what I'm going to do for my club videos is I chat about what the clubs are, and then I go into a little bit of a making phase where I'm making backgrounds, I'm making sentiments with Betterpress, Glimmer, stamping, etc. I then die cut a little bit off camera, and then I come back and I will assemble those die cuts, especially the ones that have a lot of really intricate pieces, which there's some really great ones this month. And then I also go through the stitching die and show you fun ways to use your products in new ways. And then at the very end, I will show you a look at all of the cards I've made, and then you get to pick a favorite and let me know in the comments what that favorite is. So welcome. Like I said, if you're new. And if you're not new, welcome back. All right, let's talk about the embossing folders first because they are large and in charge. And I think that this one, I'm not even going to put away with my other embossing folders. I'm going to keep this one on my desk because it is brick, which means you can use it all year round. And I really have been looking for something brick. I recently bought a stencil from Hero Arts that was a brick stencil, and I loved that. So now I have an embossing folder, which is fantastic, and it is a 3D embossing folder. So this one is brick wall, and it's going to be so good for these winter and Christmas cards, but it also will be used on other cards, especially ones that I just want a really fun texture on my background. Perhaps a mixed media card, or even something that is perfect for like masculine-ish style cards. I don't know. We'll see. But my point is this is not just going to be for winter and Christmas, as well as some of the other items here coming up. They're not just winter and Christmas, even though this theme is definitely holiday, Christmas, winter theme, but we can use our stash items in different ways. So with that being said, here's the regular embossing folder. This one is definitely winter or holiday themed. There's snowflakes, little dots, and then some little sprigs and boughs of different greens. So this one will be so nice to emboss with. Now let's talk about the wax seal club. I will be popping a picture on the screen of the example items over here from the Spellbinders website, so you can get a look at that. I do not have the actual wax seal in my crafty hands yet when I'm filming this part of the video, but with the wax seal subscription, you will also get an accessory that comes with your subscription. So you're going to get that great wax seal that you see here. It's called Merry and Bright. And then you also get something else. So this month it's going to be the wax silver beads. And side note, these are not actually wax. They are a type of plastic. So they're not going to be gummy at all. They dry so nicely, and there's no weird texture problems with them. So I really do love these wax seals, and gold and silver are my favorite two colors, as well as black and white. So these are great to have on hand for wax sealing. If I receive the wax seal for this before I finish filming this video, I will include my wax seal on projects, but if not, just check out my Instagram and I'll be posting later in the month with these. Let's talk about the Glimmer next, because I have my Glimmer foil roll here. So I'll pop a picture on the screen of the finished project from Spellbinders, but this one is just so beautiful. It has a snowy background plate, and then it has 4 sentiments. So it's perfect for the snow falling look, but also I think that this would be great for some birthday cards. I'm going to make one that is not winter or Christmas or holiday themed, really just trying to use my supplies in more ways than one. And I think that this plate allows for that because there are hearts. There's these little sprigs of what could be a star, what could be a snowflake, just really pretty and cute. And then large and small circles. And this one is going to be gorgeous, foiled with black cardstock, and I can't wait. Now with your Glimmer subscription, you do get an accessory, kind of like the wax seal. And this month it's polished brass. So a great warm tone to use for some of your projects that you might have coming up. Moving right along to the stencil, it is this adorable snowman. And it is a 5-layer stencil. You can use distress inks, you can use oxide, whatever you want to use. You can use regular ink, you could even use some fun paste. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and pull from some kind of a fun paste for my little snowman, but it's a 5-layer stencil. Like I said, Spellbinders makes it easy, and they put numbers of order of how to assemble everything, and it's just going to be so endearing to have a giant snowman head on a card. And it does fill up the A2 space, so that is fantastic. Moving right along to, actually we're going to do this one last because it has the add-on, not the add-on, the free item that comes with the caboodle. All right, now here is a great picture of what the stamp set looks like here. I do have a die that I set aside that comes with this as well because I've been brainstorming projects. But this sentiment set is more than just a sentiment set. It has that beautiful tree, and then there are bubble cut sentiment dies, which I love for stamped sentiments. And then there's also a die to cut out that gorgeous tree that says "A Very Merry Christmas to You." Very, very sweet. And this would be a great set if you don't have a Christmas set in your stash. This one is very affordable and it has very sweet sentiments on it. So I think it's a great one to have. Okay, y'all, this large die of the month just stole my heart. First of all, it reminds me of like small town, at least here in America. Some of the small towns have like a town square or like a park. And it reminds me of Gilmore Girls, where they had this little gazebo pavilion thing in the middle of town and people would play instruments in there and it would be just this whole thing. It also reminds me of Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff and Channing Tatum, and they're dancing, and I don't know how we didn't know it was her. Okay, total side note, my apologies, but this die is so cute, and I'm going to use the word cute because it is cute. Now, it has a whole gazebo that you can set up to make a winter scene with a child pulling a sled, and you can make the gazebo be kind of like an indoor scene. I am going to go the route of a town square gazebo. So mine is going to be see-through, and there's going to be a sunset. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. I'm going to use gold on the lights. Just wait. It's going to be so fun and adorable. And I think that this would be so pretty to use this gazebo and make a spring style card with little teeny tiny flowers. I think that would be a great thing to do. But we shall see. That is just a very good die set. I think this one will not go too far when this club video is over. I'm going to keep this one in my favorite die set area. Do you have a favorite die set area in your craft room? Let me know in the comments, but I certainly do. Now, this Betterpress plate set is just very, very, very silly in the best way, and I really do mean that. It is called Made with Snowflakes. The snowmen are saying hooray, they're holding their belly, he's raising his hands, and then there's one where his head and hat have fallen off, and I think it is just so silly and so cute, just really silly. And then there's 3 more sentiments that come with this one, and I am going to show a fun technique for kind of doing some ink blending, but just kind of more like ink smushing on this plate to get different looks. And I'm going to mix this Glimmer Betterpress plate with the Glimmer. So stay tuned in the video for that. It definitely gives a really cool look to do both. Now, last but not least, we have the stitching die. I'm just going to cover up this because this is not part of it, but the stitching die, you have the opportunity to stitch this beautiful peppermint and then add this little part to the other areas. And then there's this very sweet little Prancer reindeer. He is so cute. He's going to ride the ornament, and the peppermint works as the O for the word joy. Very, very sweet. And then there is this extra item. Now, if you get the caboodle, if you don't know what the caboodle is, you get all of the club items. You get it at a huge discount. And then Spellbinders throws in this little extra fun thing for you. And ironically, it says for you, and it is for you. So I'm going to use this for you set in a non-holiday way, just to make it kind of fun. And I always need birthday cards and encouragement cards. So I'm going to go that route, something for October, for breast cancer awareness. I think that would be a nice thing for that. And then there's also this one that says believe in magic. So a very, very sweet and holiday themed month ahead. Let's get right into the making. All right, let's dive right into an experiment. So I have this really pretty patterned paper, and it comes from this pack that I got from scrapbook.com. Really cool papers. You know, I love making my own watercolor backgrounds, but sometimes having a large piece this is a 12 by 12 inch paper pack. So sometimes it's nice just to have a bigger pack. So I am going to try to do a double glimmer on this pattern paper. I know we're starting off kind of hot in this video, so we'll see how this goes. I pulled a fun selection of glimmer rolls that I want to potentially try out. I'm leaning toward these two for this little experiment, although these are great, but I want to use the snowman and the glimmer together. So I'm going to glimmer them separate, but on top of the same paper, and it's going to give me a double layered glimmered result. Now, I have done double glimmering in the past, but I have not used this brand of paper. To me, it feels smooth, so I think it'll work, but if it doesn't, then we learn it together. But we shall see. So I have my little glimmer machine heating up here. And as that continues to heat up, I'm just going to line up my first plate. Now, I love to use the hinge method for glimmering, per usual. So we're going to do that again. So I take my plate and make a hinge with a piece of tape. And then I just have to open the hinge up like that. And then I put my foil here. Now, I want these to be, I think I want to use this one with these. This is the speckled prism, because I want my snowman to be a little more demure. So I'm going to use opal with them, which is basically clear rainbow. So let's just try. I don't know. I really don't know if this is going to work. But if it does, yay. And if it doesn't, I still am going to leave it in this video, because this is exactly how I would glimmer with a glimmer plate. And also this is how I glimmer with hot foil and better pressing. So same message and routine. Now with these glimmer foils, the side that is dull or gray touches the paper. The shiny side goes toward the plate, because technically on this foil, there's a beautiful, pretty piece. Then there's a clear plastic over the top, and even though you can't tell, the clear plastic is on top here, and you really can't tell at all because it is very, very thin. So all you need to know is sparkly side close to the plate, gray dull side is touching your paper. And then I have my little sandwich all built like so. And my glimmer machine is still not quite hot enough. I glimmer a lot, and I've had my machine for a while now. I think maybe 5 years. And I recently did drop it. I know that sounds so horrible to say. And I'm concerned that it's giving me a little bit of attitude now. Oh, it's good. Nice and green. Well, I have my opal foil cut and ready, so we will give that a go in just a minute. So I have my system all hot and ready. So now remember, I'm going to do plate side closest to the machine because that is what needs to get hot. So I'm just going to lay it down very carefully like so. I think I might scooch it up just a little bit. There we go. Now my paper is a little bit bigger than A2 because I figured I would be cutting this down a little bit. I have a whole scene that's going to go over this. All right, since I am using my platinum, the shims that I use is this one is really the one I use most of the time because it is completely covered, but I use this most of the time touching my project like so. And then I use this thin shim that's also from the Glimmer machine on top. You can see it really doesn't have much glimmer on it at all. And I'll just rest it there. Now I have my platinum very close by when I'm doing something like this. I have a little table that I put out to the side for my platinum to rest on when I am glimmering or better pressing. Table is kind of a weird term. It's just a little pedestal thing. And I'm able to transport this without things shifting on top. But if that is tricky for you, I would put these on right as you're putting it into the platinum so it doesn't mess up any of your project. But as always, I will direct you to the Spellbinders Glimmer Bootcamp playlist that's on the Spellbinders YouTube channel. They have tons of ideas and tricks for glimmering. So now I'm just going to take this. I'm not pressing down on this at all, just holding it steady on the bottom and bringing it over to my platinum, which, sorry, it's off camera, but that's kind of how it is with my smaller craft space. And I'm just slowly turning it through my machine. And again, I'm just holding it on the bottom. It's a little warm, not too hot, but you can always hold it with this handle and it's definitely cool. Just be careful because everything is a little warm. And then I like to redock it because typically I'm doing more than one glimmered item. I'm rarely ever just taking my machine out and glimmering one single piece of paper. Now I'm a little reckless with this and I like to just kind of grab it. I have longer nails, so I'm able to resist the heat a bit. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Are you ready? Yay, it foiled. Oh, that's really exciting news because I have that whole pattern paper pack. Oh boy. All right, well, we're going to double foil since it does foil. I'm going to use the snowman next. Hooray. This is making me very happy. Okay, so now for the opal, there isn't really that gray dull side. So I'm just kind of looking at my foil here and see how it's curling. It's kind of curling up. To me, that says that that is the inside of the roll. So that's where the shiny bits are going to be coming from. So I'm just going to set it down like this. And for my hinge method, I'm going to just simply ditch that for this because the snowmen are a little bit different. And I'm just going to put a little piece of tape on the sides and hope for the best. If it ends up being a little crooked, I can always grab a nesting die from my stash and then simply die cut out this panel and then make the die straight, and then the whole thing will be straight when it's die cut out, like a rectangle or something. Okay, but I think that tape really should help. Some people don't even use tape, so there's that option as well. All right, I'm going to flip it down. Remember, the plate side needs to touch, so it's plate, which is shiny side toward the plate, dull side toward the paper, and then the paper is on top, like so. Hit my little timer button, and we're good to go. Now, I love black paper, especially when I am making cards. So I'm grabbing this paper from Pajama Crafter Stamps. It is the color Coal. It's black. I've combined a couple packs here, but you can grab it in a 12 pack that is already the size of an A2 panel, which makes it so easy for crafting. So that is what we're going to do next. I think I'm going to do that rainbow foil with this. And again, I'm just doing this as my little timer is blinking over here for this plate. Because when I craft, I like to be efficient. I don't always get a ton of crafting time, especially during the school year here. So I like to be efficient. So when that's going, I'm working on something else. Busy hands in the craft room are always a good thing, in my opinion. The timer went off, and we'll pop my little shims on top, and here we go. And redock. And oh, I forgot I taped it. Well, just rip it off. Oh, perfect. It turned out just like I wanted it to. Do you see how subtle it is? Do you see the snowmen are just barely showing? I have absolutely no idea how I am going to capture that on camera for pictures, but you here watching the video will be able to see it. It's very subtle. And the dies I'm going to put over this are going to be the kiddos making a snowman. So I think that this is like a perfect background for them, in my opinion. Alrighty. Moving right along to our black paper, because like I said in the intro part of the video, this glimmer plate, I think you can make a card that's maybe not Christmas or winter themed. You could do a birthday card with it. So I'm grabbing this beautiful rainbow foil from Spellbinders, making my little hinge sandwich, just adjusting my foil a little. There we go. And we'll pop it on there and hit the timer. So many times I forget to hit the timer, but it definitely helps. Okay, I would love to do the snowmen with the black cardstock as well from Pajama Crafter Stamps, also known as Coal. I think I'm going to use this one, which is called Prism, one of my favorite glimmer rolls. Another favorite is called Moon Dust. It's this beautiful blue teal color, and it is so gorgeous. Okay, I want my snowmen to be kind of a party, so they're going to be prism colored, which is sometimes silver, sometimes rainbow. Now for something like this, I can't always tell where the paper starts and ends, so there's a few tricks that I use to make sure everything is kind of straight. But you know, like I said before, if it isn't, you can always use a die. So one trick I do is to kind of pull the paper around, or pull the foil around the paper, and then I can kind of estimate on the sides how much each little edge has. Another way to do that is to hold it up to the light. My paper is black, so I can't really see through, so that tip won't really work for this. So I'm going to just assume that that is pretty straight enough for this, and then I'm going to taper down I might just cut a little bit of this foil off on the edge so my tape can stick. It won't affect my finished project. It just helps my tape. Oh boy, I just see my timer is solid now, so I better get that through my platinum. Here we go. This is the downside to try to be quick. You don't want it to sit and cook. Okay, there we go. That's ready. And this is ready to go through my platinum. Awesome. I bet this is going to be gorgeous. Take that off. Sorry for the clunks. You're just going to hear that and the squeaky chair bits because I'm filming this with audio. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is gorgeous. Look at that. This is going to get that little caboodle addition thing, the free item, the For You. That's what I'm going to put on this one. How cute is that? So pretty. So pretty. Okay, love that. Okay. Ooh, I'm just so excited now. All right, let's get the snowman glimmered. Remember, this is the Betterpress plate that you can glimmer or press. I think I will still do a Betterpress impression with it just for funsies. So we'll see what that looks like. Should I do one more of these? I think. Should we do one more with black paper? I think yes. What color do I want? Black and maybe this light blue. What is this one called? Sky Bright. That would be pretty. Kind of like a winter evening. Or morning, really, because it's very dark most of the day. At least here in Minnesota in the winter, it gets dark sometimes at like 3:30 at night, and then it doesn't get light until like 9, 10 a.m. It's just a little bit bonkers, but we're thankful for the sun we get. Oh, my timer went off, so we will run it through. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm so curious. I'm here in Minnesota and we get snow. Wherever you are, do you get snow often, or is it something that you've just watched in cute Hallmark movies? I'm so curious. Okay, I just cut the tape off because I didn't want to deal with it. And I really wanted to give you this satisfying peel and reveal. Are you ready for this? Oh my. It's so fun to do that. Look how gorgeous that is. This paper just foils so beautifully. So using a good quality foil like the ones from Spellbinders, using a great paper like the one from Pajama Crafter Stamps, you really can't go wrong. And especially with the Betterpress, I find that the little lines are so detailed and beautiful that I typically like the Betterpress plates even better than the Glimmer plates. But this one is so cute this month. But I just love the fine detail on those Betterpress plates. So gorgeous. All right, I'm going to do one more here with you because more is more. Why not? And I'm almost done assembling it. And then we'll get ready for the foil, the Betterpressing. I'm kind of getting into a little bit of a routine for these videos. I have been doing, oh, do you want to see another little trick? If your foil is super curly and you're getting down to the end of the roll, you can put it on your plate like this, and then the heat from the machine flattens out the foil. Isn't that cool? And you can just be real careful and close up your hinge. Isn't that fun? And I did put my hinge on the side just to show another way to do it. I really tried to pack these videos full of tips because they seem to be the video that people watch on my channel the most. But just know that I do have other videos on my channel throughout the month. I do videos with Pajama Crafter Stamps products, Spellbinders, Hero Arts, Trinity Stamps, and more. So stick around. I hope that you enjoy today's video as we go. Like I said, the club ones usually are the most popular. They are usually the longest videos that I do for the month, but I've been trying to get into a little bit of a routine with them and do my little unboxing, and then I do my little chat about each item, do a little glimmer, a little better pressing, a little stenciling, a little stitching, and then we will show you all of the things, because I know you want to see all of the things, right? Should we do a double glimmer on black? I have that too much gene going right now, and it's just saying do more. Okay, I did the snowman already in this beautiful speckled prism, so maybe I'll do a purple one. Oh, no. I'm gonna do this one. I don't remember the name of this because I lost the box for where this goes. See how curly this is? When I put it on my glimmer plate, it will straighten up. Oh man, that curled right into a little coil. I know I said that was the last one, but I just can't help myself with the cute products. All right, here we go. Look how pretty this is gonna be. I'm so excited for this. I wish I could pass this through the screen to have you do the peel and reveal, because it is oh so satisfying. Gorgeous. So gorgeous. Perfect foiling. Oh my goodness. I just love it so much. Okay. Should we try one with no tape? I'm feeling reckless. Let's do one with no tape. This is probably going to be the one that does not turn out because I'm going rogue. So I've kind of positioned my plate centered-ish on the grid that's on the Glimmer machine. Watch this. It's going to unroll. I'm not even touching it. Ah, see? That's what I mean by it just unrolls itself. So cool. I love science. All right. She's unhinged. Okay, set the timer. And I'm not going to put these on until I roll it through my machine, because nothing is secure and that will slide around. And I'm a little bit wackadoodle this morning, and I just know that I would move it way too much transporting it with the top on. So as that goes, let's look at the ones that we have foiled already. So we have the double foil with the Dainty Snowmen and the Glimmer plate. So the Betterpress and Glimmer. These two are with just the Glimmer. And here's my Betterpress one. I have one more Betterpress in there. And I will do a double foil on this, because why not? I don't know what this is called. And if I had to name it, I'd call it a rainbow leopard print, but I think it's something like confetti, if I remember correctly. So I'll link it in the link of this video. I have all the links down below of everything I'm using. It's usually quite a long one, so I put all the links into a link deli. So if you're curious to see, or if I do not say the name of a certain color of something, I will put it in there. And if for whatever reason, if I forget something, just ask in the comments and I will help you out. I do not mind at all. All right, no tape to be a bother about this time. Another just satisfying, beautiful peel and reveal. Look at that. Rainbow snowmen. Yes, please. Oh, they're so cute. Okay. I can't help it. It's going to say, I'm going to say cute all the time. That's just going to happen. Okay. I'm thinking something kind of bright over the top of these, because I want it to be a little bit more of a standout. And I think that silver will do the job. So this is just the standard silver. Let's just try it. And now I do cut all of my Glimmer rolls with my Spellbinders shears because they just are practically a third arm for me in my craft room. I love those scissors, but you do not need anything fancy, in my opinion, for cutting the foil. But if you want to be very, very precise, they do have a foil, like a little trimmer thing. But you can see I'm pretty good at eyeballing the foil amount. I didn't measure that, and it does fit an A2 card. So I'm not trying to be braggy. I'm just saying there's an option if you need it, and if not, that's fine too. I would also love to know in the comments if you have ever double foiled before, because I think it does give such a cool result. And I think sometimes we can be a little bit scared to experiment with new techniques in our craft room, or I do find on YouTube, everybody and their mother is always looking for the next new technique. And this is not new, really, and it's not something I made up. I just wanted to try it one day, and I can sometimes be a little bit not reckless in my craft room, but just a little more experimental, we'll say. That sounds way better than reckless. So I found that it works when you use great supplies like high quality foil, high quality paper, and great press plates or glimmer plates. So there's my little PSA. Try something new. You can do it. Here we go. I'm just going to run this through my platinum one last time, and then we will move along. And I am going to redock it because off camera I will be making some sentiments with the Glimmer and Betterpress sentiments because they're so cute this month, and there's so many of them, so why not take advantage of a hot platinum when it's on and hot? Might as well use it. All right, are you ready? Da, 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 da. Ooh, this would be cool with a shaker. Oh, I have to do a shaker. I might do a shaker on one of these, but I think this background would be fun too. Isn't that fun? More is more with crafting sometimes. This is why clean and simple cards are very difficult for me, because I like the sparkle. I like all the colors. Okay, let's move right along. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start Betterpressing. I love Betterpressing. It is a very relaxing and it gives you a very satisfying project very fast. I'm going to go ahead and start with French blue, and then I'm going to basically cover all of my plate with French blue and get all of my little snowmen all covered. And then I'm going to go in with Sapphire, which is a new Betterpress color ink for me in my craft room from Dina and Spellbinders. And it is such a gorgeous blue, and I'm just going to kind of gently tap this on random little sections of the snowmen. This is going to give my snowmen a two-tone look that seems a little bit more like purposefully random. We'll go with that, and it just looks super cool when it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and run that through my platinum off camera. I have that off to the side on my desk. I'll just bring it over and ta-da, look at that. Isn't that really cool? I'm going to go ahead and press the same plate once again with a beautiful purple. Now the purple is also new to my craft room, but in between I will go ahead and clean my plate. Ta-da! My purple is called Iris. That's from Dina and Spellbinders. Friendly reminder, you can Betterpress with any paper and any ink. You just get different results. So you can even use embossing powder and embossing ink. You can use Copic friendly ink and use Copic friendly paper, and you can Copic your Betterpress images. You can use watercolor friendly ink, and you can watercolor your Betterpress if you use watercolor paper and watercolor ink. Again, it just depends on the paper and the ink you use. Now this beautiful purple will be die cut out, and it will not be completed in this video. This is the only thing that I will not be completing in this video, besides one of my glimmered backgrounds I'm going to save as well. And these two I'm going to save for special projects coming up here in October. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can see those later in the month. I have something really special coming. It's a special die, something that I don't have anything like it in my craft room, and I wanted to use that. All right, I love Lisa Horton Interference inks, and I have this one that's called Mermaid Lagoon. This was actually my first Lisa Horton ink that I ever got, and it's one of my favorites. It goes on this like green teal color on white paper, and then on black or dark colored cardstock. It is a beautiful purpley sapphire, not sapphire, more like purple, indigo purple color. It's just so gorgeous. So I am using the brick background for this, and that looks so cool. But originally when I was making this project, I thought this will be my background, and then I will stamp the tree with black and the purple, which sounded very nice and lovely. So here I go trying it. I'm going to show it to you here. But in the process of doing this, I forgot that I actually wanted the tree to be green and the background to be purple. So this stamps out just fine, although I'm not going to use it. So I'm just going to simply flip this over, and yeah, that's really cool, although it just doesn't have the wow factor that I wanted. So take two, I will use that blue background on something else, but here's that purple background, which is my original plan. There we go. And I have my little green tree now that I can stamp out, just using a scrap of white paper that was a pretty good quality cardstock to stamp this out. I just love when there is coordinating dies for stamp sets. I think that this one is super cute, and it's just so happy and cheerful. A very Merry Christmas to you. And I did not have my stamp press anywhere by me, which I just ended up using the strong part of my thumb. And I did stamp that out 2 times just to make sure everything was nicely stamped out. Now I am just loving my new to me die cutting machine this summer. It's the Anna Griffin. Here's the magnetic mat. It is just so easy to use. And when it die cuts, it just almost has a cushion to it, and it just leaves this beautiful beveled edge on every single thing that I die cut out. So I wish I could pass that through the screen to you to see, but it is so cool. Now I'm going to just zhuzh the background up a little bit by adding a little bit of some silver thread from DMC. I just wrapped that around 3 times. Somehow it was the perfect amount. I don't know. I think that sometimes when I've been working with paper and thread and things like that, I just kind of have an eyeball of, I just know how much to do or how much to cut or how much I need for a project, and it just happened to work out that way. All right, even more zhuzh, I'm going to pop the tree up with foam, and I did use liquid glue on top of the foam or behind the foam, as you can see there, because I like to make sure that my projects don't fall apart. And a foam piece on wet embossing powder background would fall apart. So there it is. I have some embellishments there from Pink and Maine. Now I wanted it to be even cooler, so I'm going to use this acrylic spray, and it really isn't spray. I'm just using the nozzle, and I use this sparkle from Spellbinders. It's like a nail polish tube, and it really just made the background even more fun and sparkly. I love a splatter. Ooh, I had happy hands there. Now, fun and sparkly is the name of the game, apparently, with almost every card that I have here today. So this card is going to be with that double glimmer and Betterpress background. So glimmered 2 times. And then I'm going to use this beautiful pink paper, which is from Spellbinders. I have the name of it here, actually. I think. Yes, I do. It is so pretty. It is called Orchid. And that, ooh, actually, hold on. I'm looking at the paper. That is incorrect. Orchid is gorgeous, but the paper I'm actually using right now is called Mulberry. Mulberry. It's just such a pretty purpley pink fuchsia color, but it is just so elevated. I don't know how else to describe it, but beautiful. It's a beautiful paper. So I'm going to then die cut with my nesting dies. I've been reaching for this set specifically for tons of projects. I don't know what I would do in my craft room without nesting dies. So if you are brand new to paper crafting, or you're kind of looking to build your crafty stash up, if you don't have a nesting die, like a rectangle or a circle, ovals, some kind of shape that you enjoy, it's definitely one that you're going to want because it's something you can pull for multiple times. Here, I used it on this project too. Actually, I think with my finished projects, I used it on almost every one of my projects, and they work very well for the gift card holders as well. So that's really cool. Okay, I wrapped that same silver twine around on camera. I took a picture of this card when it was finished, and you really can't see the silver thread on camera, but in person it does have a very light sparkle. So I love that. And that Lisa Horton ink on the background is just so stunning. I just am adoring that beautiful ink color. And then that teal paper was something that I got from Hobby Lobby. It was called like a mermaid pack, which that worked very well with that mermaid ink. And I did put my die cutting plates on top there because I wanted it to be flat. And I just used my little Trinity folder there to make sure my card base was nice and flat. Then I'm going to finish off this project with some Nuvo drops. I use this one called Snowdrift. This is like the bottle that keeps on giving. I have had this bottle for like 2 years. It's about a third of the way. No, I think I've used about 2/3 of it already. And it's just so perfect for snow. So I'm going to just add a little bit here and there to the bottom here so it looks like the snow had been trodden upon when someone was making this cutie pie snowman. And yes, the snow does not match the snowman, and that's totally fine because it makes him stand out with all of his little sparkles. Too cute. All right, here is this awesome die cut piece from Spellbinders. This is perfect for gift card holders. So you can see here how easy it is to assemble. You just glue 2 edges. It is 1 piece of paper that you die cut out. So not a whole bunch of things that you have to assemble. And then I do like to take my little bone folder there and then just kind of help the creases out a bit. Then you can zhuzh up the front by adding fancy things to the front like I did here with the Betterpress paper. And this one I'm going to use for a stitching project. So that will be so cute when it's done. And spoiler alert, I'm going to do something really cool with that. And I'm going to make it have 2 gifts. So stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and make another gift card holder because I wanted to showcase these products in more than just Christmas or holiday for you, because I think that this gift card die holder is one of the best dies that I have in my craft room. I know, shocker. I've used it so much. I used it for the Spellbinders mega kit that came this summer, and I made the 12 Days of Christmas a whole little giftable set that I could give to someone. I still haven't decided who I'm giving it to, probably my husband or one of my coworkers, but we'll see. Then I will just take some clear, what is that called? I cannot remember. Losing my marbles. Anyone else? Glossy accents. And just make a whole bunch of little dots all over just to add some fun texture. And I think that this would be a perfect little gift to give to someone, maybe for a birthday or anything. So that is how I showcased the Glimmer background there in just a little bit of a different way. It doesn't have to be Christmassy. All right, back to this Betterpress card. This one I'm just showing you here. I pulled this beautiful purple periwinkle pearlized paper. Wow, say that 5 times fast. From my crafty stash. I have zero clue where I got it from, but I will be using that in a special project coming up. So again, stay tuned to my channel to see that. I just finished off this card with layering the sentiment made with love and snowflakes and added a whole bunch of cute little pearlized embellishments from Spellbinders around the sentiment. They just had their embellishment sale, and it was such a good time to stock up on embellishments. And it made me think about what I actually had in my craft room. I went through, I organized it, and I got totally inspired to use them in more ways. Okay, let's get to the stitching of this project. I have this peppermint here, and the peppermint is super simple to stitch. You just go up the outside, down the center, up the outside, down the center. And you just repeat that going all the way around. Now I have lots of stitching videos on my channel. Right now we are right in the middle of the Stitching Advent Calendar series that's on my channel. So you'll see videos going up for 12 days in a row. And I'm making stitching projects the whole time. And I also have a whole playlist on my channel called Stitching on Cards, which is where I put all of the videos where I am showing different projects on my channel. And I also have a Stitching 101 playlist where I give you basically a free little class on how to stitch and how you can stitch. So here I went up the center just to show you the difference there. It really doesn't matter for stitching things like this, but when I get to the little reindeer nose, you will notice that the center hole does get very crowded because lots of little threads are going into the same hole. Therefore, it looks a little bit nicer if your needle is going down instead of it coming up, because when it comes up, it can push the thread up out of the hole, and when your needle goes down the center hole, it pulls the thread into the hole, and it does not have such a bulky look to it. Now I did run out of my thread here, so I just split my thread. Typically this thread is 6 strands together. I like to stitch with 3. Some people stitch with 2. It just kind of is a personal preference. Now you can start and stop your stitching projects with tape. You can start and stop them with adding little knots if you want. I personally think tape is the easiest way to go. So that is what I like to do. So that is very, very simple to do. And I just have to get my needle threaded here. Sometimes that's easier said than done. But I'm just going to repeat that going all the way across. And then I'm going to actually take my stitching project on the go, because the school year has started and I enjoy stitching when I am not just in my craft room. Then when I'm in my craft room, I have time to do things where I can't do coloring in the car per se. I would get a little bit sloppy with my coloring, but I could stitch in the car. So I'm going to take this project on the go, and I will come back near the maybe about 10-15 minutes into this video from here and finish off the rest of the items here. And I'm going to there's going to be some gifts with these stitching things, so stay tuned. Here I will quickly stitch the little nose of the moose. Reindeer. The reindeer. There is another alternative to stitching. If you do not want to stitch with thread, you can take a little thin line pen or marker, maybe even a sparkly gel pen, and you can make the lines to look like stitching, and it just kind of creates the illusion of a stitched area. I did want to include the assembly for the reindeer because this will be important later because I'm turning this reindeer into a gift. I think I've said that 3 times, but you're going to have to stay tuned to see what kind of a gift this turns into. And the reindeer is not going to be an ornament. So I know usually I make my stitching things an ornament, but the reindeer will not be an ornament. All right, I'm going to take this beautiful embossing folder and make a background for my project. I'll just add a little bit of some liquid glue onto the back of the panel here. I used these beautiful nesting dies from Spellbinders. They have this gorgeous shape of an arch, and to me it looks like a snow globe, and I love that shape. I think it looks so whimsical. And then the sentiment placement on the bottom, in my mind, kind of helps the illusion of it looking like a snow globe. Now the die has these J and Y to have the word joy written out. Although I'm not going to use it on this project or my other one, it is a very cute idea, and I will be using it in some project at some point later in the crafting space. Now I'm going to make a background for my project. I'm making a shaped card, so I'm just leaving the little space on the top of my die off of the cutting area, so then I have my card base able to open and close, and that just gives a little bit of a shape and a little bit of an opening at the top there, so it is all together for a shaped card. I always love a shaped card. I think it's just a little bit different, and it leaves a different unique shape for the recipient to have, and plus a top folding card is so fun and different. All right, I'm going to take my stitching on the road, and I'll come back later on this video and we'll finish these cuties up. Better put a little needle in there, so I have that. And what else should I take? I also need thread, and I will need a scissors. Can't forget those. All right, moving on. This card, oh my. This card I think looks like my cousin's 2 kids. She has a girl and a boy, and I don't know, I just feel like these kids just remind me of them outside in the snow. Not that I've ever watched them in the snow or anything, but I think that this is what they would look like if they were making a snowman. So I probably will send this off to my cousin and her family for a little Christmas card, but this is just so cute. There's a ton of little pieces, so I figured I would show the assembly of the kids and the snowman just in case you would like a little bit more of a close look at everything. There's the little arms and then the snowman. I love how simple the snowman is because it just has a body and a head. It doesn't have a ton of extra little things, and it just is so simply cute, especially with those trees. All right, let's get real close so you can see all the pieces for the kids. First, these boots are going on to the leg area. Then the mittens are going on to the hand area. I'll put the coat to the legs, the scarf to the head, and then that top piece for the scarf. And then this piece is the face and the head. Most of it's going to be covered with the hat. Just a sliver of a face is showing. And then, boom, a pom-pom. One kid done. Now, remember that this part of the video is sped up. I've had time to die cut out and plan everything. So, yes, the assembly of my pieces just takes seconds, really about a minute each to glue. But it's because I had it planned out. I have a lovely glue tool, and I have a beautiful tool from Trinity Stamps that helps me to place all of my items so fast. This part kind of confused me because I needed the scarf to be going the other direction, and then I forgot that the head is looking down because the child is looking down at the ground. So I just had to adjust that, and we're all set. Now this background is just so gorgeous as it is. And it makes me happy when I look at it because I remember that I did a little bit of an experiment on this one with that Betterpress plate and a Glimmer plate on that cardstock that I had. I had never glimmered with it before, but knowing that I can glimmer with that whole 12 by 12 patterned paper pack is just fantastic news. Once again, I've made a shaped card background for this. I'll just add that right on. And now I'm going to use one of the shaped dies to die cut out a piece of the tree. And this just gives me a very seamless way to create the background, to create the illusion of the background going off of the scene of the card. So I just die cut that with my die there. And that tree is just going to rest on the edge of the scene. Just glue that down, a little bit of extra glue there on the edge so it does seal. Then I added the tree, the snowman, and the child. Now on this child, I'm using a little bit of foam and a little bit of liquid glue to place her right there on the edge. Oop, just kidding. I thought I had glued those down. Apparently I have not. Adding foam on everything because why not, right? I had some foam on that second tree there, so the snowman will just rest right there with some foam on the back and some glue just resting on top of the tree. Now this little snowman arm was going to be covered with the little boy, so I decided to rip the arm off and then place it in a different area. So then both of the stick arms could be visible because I just thought, why not just move it if I could? And then more foam to add on the second child. That should do. That other long arm was going to be resting on the snowman, so it didn't need any extra glue. This little let it snow sentiment is perfect to go inside my cards. I don't typically decorate the inside of my cards all that often, although I did on this card and I will on another one coming up. Next, I will add my stamped and heat embossed set. Oh man. Next, I will add my sentiment that I heat embossed with white embossing powder and add a little bit more of that Snowdrift Nouveau drop. It is just one of my favorite. I think I keep calling it Snowdrift, but it's called White Blizzard. That and all the other things that I'm using, I will link down below in the products used list. Then I just thought, why not add beautiful glitter cardstock ornaments to the tree if I can, right? And it's going with the colors. It's so cute. So these are part of the die set and they are perfectly sized for this scene. A little bit more Nouveau drops, just add extra sparkle and interest to the background as if it did not have enough. And I do a little bit of a swirly motion when I finish each little blob, so I don't have Hershey Kisses. I have nice looking blobs that are circular. I love a Hershey Kiss though, so just not on my card for this card. There is a look at that. Ooh, this card gets second place in my lineup of my favorites for this video. But this card, oh my, this is going to be my favorite. Spoiler, it's going to be my favorite. Why? Because of this gazebo. It is so cute. It's striking. It's more than cute. It's striking. All right. Now this die set has another cute little child with a sled and presents. So again, I figured I would show you the assembly just in case. Now don't do what I do and put the boots on first. Oh no, got to put the socks on first. So the boots go on the socks and then the socks go on the legs with the boots on the top. There you go. Now you might be looking at this going, oh, what are those hearts and those polka dot orange paper? Oh, I'm so glad you asked. It is some fun pattern paper that I've had in my stash for like 5 years. So it was the time to use it. And I thought that the tiny pattern on it was perfect for something like this. I am a kindergarten teacher, if you didn't know, and I'm around kiddos. And I think that a cute a cute coat has a fun pattern on it like this. And I know a lot of little girls that would just love a rainbow heart coat with a sparkly pom-pom hat. So here she is, and she is very determined with her gait. She's walking around and she's got her sled. The sled is very simple to assemble. I think it's just 3 dies. And then this little piece goes in her hand, and then the other piece goes on the end of the sled. Now you could put anything on this sled. I know that there was a little cat die in one of the subscriptions not that long ago. You could put a cat on the sled, but I'm going to stick to what this die set had and use the gifts. But I'm going to put one gift in a special place. So see if you can guess it, maybe by the end of the making of this card. Now, this gazebo reminded me of the gazebo in my parents' town. My parents live nearby, and their town has a gazebo. Maybe one day our town will have a gazebo, but we don't. But it is white, and I wanted to not just have it be stark white. I wanted to have it have a little bit of shadow. Have. I don't know how many times I've said had in this video. Oof. Anyway, I'm adding cool gray, which is C2 from Copic, and not being too careful about where I add it, just where I think shadows would be. So the edges, anywhere where there's a little bit of a ledge, nothing that intense. Then I'm taking C0, which is basically the colorless blender. It has the very tiniest amount of gray in it, and just going over where I colored and kind of blending out that darker color and giving it even more shadow. And I really do think that this helps everything come to life in a really sweet way without doing all that much work. Now I have 2 snowdrift pieces cut out for the rooftop because I wanted it to have a little extra interest. I'm going to make a 5x7 card here, so I am not going to be shy with the size of these big pieces here, and it's just going to be big. And I love snow, so more snow the better. Don't know if we're going to get any with it being so warm now, but just wait. Minnesota will say, haha, it's going to be freezing this year. Just watch. You know, there's a little wives' tale that says if the squirrels have bushy tails, it's going to be a cold winter, and the squirrels could not be bushier. So I know it's going to be a very, very cold and snowy winter. We'll see, but I think it's accurate. Alrighty, my gazebo is going to be offset a little bit on my card. I have that beautiful snowy glitter cardstock that is also from Spellbinders. It's called the ivory color. And I have my little gazebo there with my sunset. That sunset was some patterned paper that I splattered with white splatter, and then I used the sparkle splatter from Spellbinders to create a little bit of snow and texture and sparkle. Now I love a Christmas tree. They're one of my favorite trees ever. I know I might be a little weird that I have a favorite tree, but I have a favorite tree, and it's a pine tree. Specifically a blue spruce. I think that they're just so beautiful. So I used 2 different color greens on my trees here. I'm going to leave this mistake in because we all have mistakes. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to move my whole gazebo and such. It's fine, whatever. Anyway, I have 2 different colors for my trees just to add extra interest and such to the background. I think it's just a nice way to add dimension and shadow, to have 2 colors, and the greens are playing nicely together because the one lighter green there is very close to the green that is on the little girl's heart jacket. So it does kind of tie in there, and with a lot of ivory and white with the snow and the gazebo, it just kind of creates a little bit of a lighter palette. So these colors can really just shine and pop. I'm just keeping in mind that that little girl is going to be on the card, so just placing my trees in certain spots so they're not going to be covering up the space for her sled, presents, or head. Now, this little tree on the left here needed a little bit of support with some scrap of cardstock because the gazebo is several layers thick, and so my tree was resting on top of that. So I just used some scrap paper to make a little support there. Foam would have been a little too high, so that scrap paper worked very well. And I'm going to pop the little girl up, but not the sled, because I don't have foam that thin, just being real with you. So, and I'm also going to rip that foam off right there so her head can rest on the tree. Again, just playing with layers and creating a seamless scene. At least that was the goal. Now, originally I wanted to put the present on top of the stack here, but I thought, how cute would it be if there was just a little present on the gazebo, like she was walking by and she just left a little surprise little gift for somebody. I thought that was so sweet, so of course I put it there. And then I finished this off with the sentiment, "Let it snow." Now, all this needs is a card base, and of course I have a little hidden message there in glue, per usual. I do it on most of my cards, not every card though. All right, I am going to use this scrap because I thought it was so pretty and sparkly. Why not add it to the inside of this card? And you might be looking at this going, girl, your card base does not match your card front. Yep, my card front is a little bit bigger. Oh well, more sparkle. It's fine. Now the end and the back here, I'm going to add the sentiment "Made with love and snowflakes" because it was made with love and there was fake snow with little dots. All right, let's get to the stitching. My original plan with these stitching projects was to make this one shaped card, put this right onto the card, although I want it to be a giftable option, and then I'm going to make another giftable option, totally different. So let's rewind. I want to make a little ornament for a Christmas item or Christmas gift here. And I noticed that this little reindeer, I think we're going to name him Rudolph because I put red noses on both. But if I can just kind of stick Rudolph on here and then just put a little bit of something here to cover up this ribbon, we're going to make an ornament, a giftable ornament. Now, if you've been following along on my channel, I have had lots of Advent stitching ideas going on because right now we are in the middle of Stitchmas, which is 12 days Advent calendar for all things stitching from Spellbinders. So it's super fun. Right now, when I'm doing this voiceover, there are still some of those Advent calendars available. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can totally check it out. And then you can follow along with my videos, and then we can make fun things together. Isn't that nice? I think so. Okay, I think I'm going to cover up this area. I have like an extra nose piece from Rudolph, and I think it should fit. I just have to trim it a little bit. Now this gorgeous gold is from Vivant and Spellbinders. It's technically, I think, a cord. Yep, circle cord. It is amazing. I have 50 meters. Ha 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 ha. I'm gonna make so many projects with it, I just know. Okay, so immediately that is adorable. You don't even have to put the reindeer on it, but I like all things cute, so why not put the reindeer on there? I'm going to simply glue him on. Now, when I was getting all of my stitching elements ready after I had stitched them all up, I noticed that this reindeer would make an adorable bookmark. Yeah, it's going to be so cute. Are you ready? I'll show you. So we'll get there in a second. I'm getting so excited. Too ahead of myself. So how do you make this a giftable card? So first of all, it's shaped. Love that. But when I do giftable cards, I like to use a low tack tape like the one from Spellbinders or scrapbook.com here. And you just kind of place the ribbon or whatever is the hanging part of your ornament over the back, and then you just kind of stick that low tack tape to the back. Oh goodness, I'm making this way more complicated than it needs to be. But basically you just tape it like so. And if you have a side folding card, you can just tape it to the inside of the card. So the recipient will get it and be, oh wow, so cute. Wow, I love it. Yay. And then what? Yes, you get a gift and you get a card. Hooray. So I always like having that giftable option for some of these stitching products because, I mean, it didn't take forever and a day to make this, but why not give it to someone as a cute little decoration instead of perhaps a card? I know some people aren't savers for cards, which is totally, you know, up to the recipient. If they want to save it, that's up to them. But I think it's a little bit less pressure to give something like this. And then what you can do on the back of these products or projects is write a little something on there like, love Auntie Justine, or best wishes in the new year. Whatever you want to write, you can write on the back of these. And then you can write, you know, love Grandpa 2025, Christmas 2025, whatever it is. You can write a little message on the back. And then there you have it. How fun is that? I think that it would be even cooler to do this with a crafty kiddo. If you have a kid in your life who you'd think might be interested in card making, get them into stitching. It is so very relaxing. Okay, I have that all set. Now my second giftable item is going to be this little gift pouch. Now, like I said before, this is a die that is from Spellbinders, and it makes a cute little pouch. And then I used some shape dies from my stash to make this insert. And then I just love the look of the Betterpress glimmered on the actual pouch. But there's enough room in there that you could put a little candy cane, you could put a gift card in there, you could even put some chocolate in there. Ooh la la, love that. Okay, well, let's get this little piece assembled. I know that some people are new to stitching, so I figured let's do this on camera together. I like to add glue to my stitching projects and just make them all covered in glue like so. And then you just kind of put this back piece on. Now you don't technically need the back piece, but with this project, since the holes are here, it would have little black holes because my background is black. So I just figured why not put a smooth back on it, and then I can make this giftable too, which I probably should have put the little ribbon inside this at first because this one is going to have two gifts. We're going to have an ornament here, but I also want to have the reindeer, Rudolph, is going to be a bookmark, just as he is. You'll see. It's so simple, but very cute. And I love to read, and I think it's always good to encourage the children to read. You know, in my long career, just kidding, not very long, but in the years of teaching that I've had, I have had some regrets, you know, of, you know, maybe I shouldn't have taught a lesson this way, or we spent too much time on that topic or whatever. But I read a quote from another teacher that said, I never regret any of the time that I took with my students to read to them a story. And I feel that. I think reading is so important. And if you have a little kiddo in your life, read them a story. It's a nice time together too. Okay, so I have my little ornament, and for this as a giftable, I would just tuck in the little cord there, so then the recipient can pull it out, or you could even stick it right in there, you know, but then it might need something on the outside. So if you want to decorate your outside, you certainly can, but I'm going to use this to decorate my outside. And Rudolph, you know, he can hold the ornament in place. So he has these little legs in the back, and then he has the arms in the bottom. So I only glued the top part of the legs. So you can see I only put glue on this little area here. And I didn't put glue all over here because this leaves it open to have a little area for sliding. So it can act like a bookmark, like that. Whoa, he's flying. Probably because it was on acetate, but you can just rest right like that in a book. Here, let's get my crafty companion. From Craft Roulette, I'll just open to a random page, and here we go. See, how cute is that? Oh, I love that. By the way, if you don't know what this is or what Craft Roulette is, definitely check it out. Okay, I might have stretched out my Rudolph a little bit, but it's a card making game show, and I've had the very most fun with it this year, so come check it out every Friday on Craft Roulette on YouTube. Little ad. I don't know. I love them, and I will give them all the free promotion because I just have the most fun making cards every week. Okay, here's my little Rudolph. He can just hang out right in there and kind of hold my ornament in place. There you have it. Isn't that adorable? Pop a candy cane in there or not. Go sugar-free, maybe. And you still have a beautiful ornament and a bookmark. And then you can write a little something on there, like Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, love you. By the way, you should tell people that you love them. Totally a PSA, but it's important. Alrighty, well, let us remain. Just kidding. Let's move right along to the stencil. I am super excited because I was kind of looking at all of the things that I have made so far with these clubs, and I noticed a trend in my color choices. And I think that this is going to be a cool tone Christmas card arrangement. Whenever I stencil, I use my stamp wheel from Altenew because it has the grip mat. So just know that's what I'm using. And I thought about using Distress ink because I now have sets 1 through 12 of the mini cubes. I never really took the plunge into getting every single color of the Distress inks and oxides because that was expensive, but the mini cubes kind of offer more colors with less of the price tag. Okay, since I'm using Distress ink, I'm going to use my brushes that I use for ink, which are the ones that I have from Trinity Stamps. And because there are some small details in these stencils, I'm going to use my shading brushes. Just sounds like it would be the right way to go. Here's Shaded Lilac, which to me is like a periwinkle or like an indigo blue. I don't know. This to me has never been purple, but what do I know? Of course, now it looks very purple right now. I don't know. Maybe it's just the lighting. So this is my snowman's background. So this is stencil number 1. And I'm going to make this kind of a pink and purple, cute snowman. And who says that we can't have a pink and purple snowman? You know, usually when you make a snowman, you grab from things that you already have at your house and you put your own winter gear on the snowman. So that would be pink and purple if it was my kind of snowman or lady. Actually, it probably would be green. My winter coat is green and I love it. Especially in Minnesota. So very much needed. And you know what? I can't even believe that I'm thinking about winter because it is end of September when I'm filming this video and it was 94 today. What? 94 degrees Fahrenheit. Unbelievable for Minnesota. at the end of September. It's nuts. It's just nuts. I don't even have words for it besides nuts. All right, first stencil is complete. Here's number 2. This stencil will provide me cheeks and my ribbon for the hat. And like a true professional, I did not line up stencil number 1 with the corners of my project. You think I would, but I did not. Let's just see. Well, I kind of did. Did I? Okay, I kind of did. I think it was just subconscious. That looks about right. I think, you know, the worst case scenario is it turns out a little wonky, and then I just maybe make another one, which is fine too. All right, here's Kitsch Flamingo. Such a pretty pink. Grab my pink brush. I do love these brushes that are from Trinity. If you don't have brushes for ink blending in your crafty stash, I would recommend these. They really can get a nice shade on die cuts as well. That is probably my favorite way to use them because I use dies more than stencils, but you can see here they work very well with stencils. I'm going to try to leave the centers of these cheeks a little lighter. I don't know why, but that just kind of makes sense in my eye. And I'm loving the way that this cheek is turning out. Whoopsie, I put my ink away and I need to do my ribbon. Oh, how my kindergarten lingo comes back so quickly. Did you catch it? Started with an O. Oopsie. It's one of those words that you can use with kids and immediately they go, oh, what am I supposed to do? And it's not like, it doesn't stress them out, but it definitely helps redirect them in a gentle way. Okay, for a larger area like this, it's probably best to use one of the bigger blending brushes, like the blending buddies that Trinity has. But, you know, sometimes when you're crafting, like I am right now, it's nice just to take your time and just enjoy the process of doing something like this. Code word, flamingo. Add that to the comments. And I think that this stencil would be super cute to use the paste, like the lunar paste or the solar paste on. So I might do that if I make another one of these soon. Or maybe I should do that with the hat. Wouldn't that be cool? I think I will. I think I will. So because I'm going to do that, this is going to be my last layer. Because I'm going to use the paste. And if I use the paste, it's going to need some dry time. So let's just stencil up the other ones and then we'll come back to that. Bright carrot nose. I'm using carved pumpkin for the nose. Has anyone ever used a stencil like this and used markers to color with the stencils? I'm kind of wondering about that with this carrot. I think it would look kind of cool to have like texture on the carrot. Oh, how cute is this? Okay, so this is going to be the shadow. This will be eyebrows for my snowman and kind of some little texture shadow on the band of the ribbon, and then a shadow from the head. So since it is a shadow, I'm going to use Lost Shadow, which is a very light gray. And then just ever so slightly. Go on those little areas. These are all super juicy because some of my distress inks are newish to my craft room. I just want to mention, since I'm just going along here, I am an affiliate for Glassboard Studio, and if you use my link, you get a discount, and it helps me out, and I just figured I would mention that. I love using my Glassboard. That's the one that I have under here, and you can tell that I love it because it's in almost every single video that's been on my channel. And I have almost 1,000 videos, so I don't know. That's basically a very simple testimonial for you there. Ooh la la, look at that shadow. Okay, let's get messy. I was going to use black soot for the coal, the mouth, and the hat, but why not add a little texture and a little sparkle? You know I love a sparkle moment. Oh, the smile does go right into the cheeks, okay? Like so, I think, and then the hat. You know, what I'm gonna do is just pay attention to how the hat is looking, and then wherever the smile lands, it's where it lands. Okay, time to get my paste. I think I have a black. Maybe I don't. Well, I do not, but I do have this color called Midnight Snack, and it is super pretty. It's kind of like a purpley blue, and I think this will look nice. What will it look like with the background, though? Is it going to lose it in the background? We're gonna go for it. And I am using this palette knife from Spellbinders. I do find this to be quite a helpful tool. And I haven't used this color in a while, so I'm just gonna give it a little mixy mix. This is Lunar Paste, by the way, from Simon Hurley and Rinja. Okay. For this, I'm just going to go with the motion of my arm, which is this direction, and hopefully I will have less coming out in here. I don't know if that makes any sense. Actually, I think I need to move my stencil up a little bit. I see a bit of white space here and a bit of pink here, which means my stencil is a little bit low. So I might as well move it before I get paste all over. Well, my camera decided that it was just too hot and it turned off for the rest of the making of this, but I ended up using the shimmer relief paste from Altenew called Galactic Skies instead of the lunar paste because I was just wanting it to have that little extra sparkle, and the shimmer relief paste does have a bit of a sparkle. And it is still a little bit wet, and I added the sentiment Made with Love and Snowflakes. So there is a final look at this little guy. Don't have it on a card base yet because it's still wet, but I figured I'd film the intro for this video. So we'll set Frosty off to the side so he can dry. But let's take a look at all of the final cards. Be sure to be on the lookout, a little bit of a bolo for your favorite. So we have Frosty. We have the giftable ornament with bookmark gift card holder. We have the shaped Rudolph card with the giftable ornament. We have the gift card holder that is not Christmassy, but perhaps for a birthday or a little thank you. We have the purple brick with the teal tree with the Lisa Horton inks. Oh my, this background is just so good. I love that embossing folder. I will not get over it. Okay, and then we have the Made with Love and Snowflakes Betterpress pressed image. It is so, I love feeling the texture. Love that. And then we have the very sparkly and colorful stamped pink tree with my Betterpress and Glimmer on the back. So that is the double glimmered. We have the For You with the card layout from Call Me Crafty Owl from her sheet load from last month. We have the snowman with the brick background. So pretty. I love how this, what is this called? Nouveau Drops. I love how the Nouveau Drops reacted with that ink behind it. They're just these perfect little embellishments on there. And then my last two were the 5x7 with the outside gazebo and the Wishing You a Season Full of Wonder. I think this to me looks like a snow globe. It really does. And if you remember, I have the double glimmer on here as well with the snowmen and with the hearts and snowflakes. It's very, very subtle, but it's there. So let me know your favorite. My favorite, I think this month it's got to be this one. I just think that it is just very large and grand, and from the sentiment to the sparkle to the sunset to this cutie pie little kid, I love this one. This is my favorite. But I would love to know what your favorite is down below, so let me know by leaving me a comment. And subscribe to my channel for more videos. I know a lot of people come over for my club videos for Spellbinders, but I have so much more than just this one video each month. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on all the other things that I've got going on my channel. We just had our Betterpress Babes night out in September on my channel. This month in October, it will be on Melanie's channel. So stay tuned at the end of this video to have one last look at all of these cards by I'll put in like a pretty picture of each one. And then you will be able to have a little bit of an intro to that Betterpress Babes night out. And that will be on Melanie Smith's channel in October. All right, crafty friend, I hope you have a great October and happy crafting. Bye, crafty friend. Hey, babe, it's me, Justine, interrupting this video. Have you ever Betterpressed? Do you have a Betterpress that is sitting somewhere in your crafty space looking at you? Maybe you bought it. Maybe you're scared to take it out. Maybe you've loved it and used it and made beautiful things already. No matter what your situation, you, crafter, can join the Betterpress Babes. Melanie Smith and I, my best crafty buddy, we have started a whole awesome community all about Betterpress. So you can join us monthly on our channels. Depending on the month, it might be on my channel, it might be on Melanie's channel, but we do live events every single month. We have fantastic sponsors, we do fun giveaways, and it's a great time to ask questions live and in person with us through our YouTube videos. So you can join the Facebook group Betterpress Babes on Facebook. I will have that linked in the description of this video. And also you can join Melanie and I on our lives. We absolutely love interacting with you all in the chat. So please join us on our lives. And if you subscribe to our channels, you can be notified for the live events. We just want you to have a great time with your Betterpress, just like us. So join the Betterpress Babes on Facebook, and we will see you on our next Babes Night Out, which is our live event. Maybe you will be one of the winners of our next Betterpress Babes Live fun crafty giveaway. We shall see. See you there.